Now, I was reading in one of the papers yesterday, you've been speaking out against voter ID, which the government want to bring in, where we have to produce some sort of identification before we go and vote. I've always thought it was really weird that we didn't have to do that anyway. Most other countries have that. It happens in Northern Ireland for all sorts of reasons. Why are you so against it?
Well, I just don't like the relationship between us and the state where we have to show a piece of identification to exercise our fundamental right, and voting is one of our absolute fundamental rights. And and as always, I mean, every time the government comes up with an ID card proposal of one sort or another, it's an answer looking for a problem. And that's what this is. I mean, in 2019, when we had more elections than we had in most years, local and national and so on, there were 33 complaints about voter fraud. The Electoral Commission investigated them, and 2 of them stood up. 2 were prosecuted. And the sorts of real voter fraud that happens primarily with postal votes. That's where the big voter fraud happens. Not in the casting your ballot in the. But
it does happen at every election. I get tweets and texts from people saying, "I tried to vote today, but I couldn't because the poll clerk said that somebody had already voted, and they said they were me." Now, okay, this is not 10% of voters. It's not even 1% of voters.
Not even 0.001%.
No, but if it had happened to you, you would be furious. I would be furious. Yeah. So surely those people deserve some protection from the law, and this is a way around it.
I've been an MP for 30-something years. I've had people complain that not being able to vote, but mostly it's because the local authority who run the vote have lost their papers, or it's not because somebody's voted for them. It's very, very, very rare indeed. And against that, you're saying, well, you've got to take a card. But what if people forget to take a card? Or haven't got one.
Then go home and get it again.
Oh yeah, and you think that'll happen? Or they turn out. They come back. They come back from work. They come back from work. They have their dinner. They go to vote. And they haven't got a card, or maybe they haven't acquired a card.
But there are all sorts of things where we have to identify ourselves to get some level of service. Well, some things you have to show a driving licence, you have to show a bank card, you get a prescription.
You're not required to carry a driving licence.
Well, you're supposed to show an NHS card to get a prescription. I know most people don't. No, I know. But I don't see any problem. I mean, this is not a backdoor way of introducing a national identity card, is it?
Yes,
is that what you fear?
Yes, I do. Look, one of the great problems that's been it's creeping up on us as a nation is that more and more Whitehall is beginning to do things that were illegal 25 years ago, like sharing data between departments and so on. Why was it illegal 25 years ago, before we had all the computer databases and so on? Because Britain understood that that's how governments get too much control of their population. We understood that for a long time. But for the last 25 years, Whitehall has saw ID cards as the answer to everything. Immigration, terrorism, voter fraud, you name it. Most of them were no use at all, and the public, when they think about it properly, don't like them.